Mathew McConaughey's Poems and Prayers book review. It's another one of those books I can't speak highly enough of. Mathew McConaughey is a really good dude. His Greenlight book is awesome. So I was really looking forward to listening to this because I did it in an audiobook format. When I heard he had a second book out, I thought it was great, just as great as his Greenlights. It's a completely different scenario as what you think it might be. It's poems and prayers, so it's stuff that he's written. Whether it is a poem or prayer or different, articles or written material, I guess is the best way to put it. He actually reads it himself. Again, it's one of those audiobooks where the author actually narrates it, so it brings the story more to life because he actually has one of those voices. If you know who he is and you know about his voice, he's got one of those voices that people are just intrigued by. I can listen to him talk all day long, whether it's in audiobook format or one of his motivational speeches or him in a movie. He's just one of those intriguing guys that I sort of like drift to when I get a chance to support, because I just think he's an all-around good dude. But this book is different because it's just him reading his poems and written material. So you have to take that in mind. It's not an actual story per se. The audiobook is, I think, 2 hours and 11 minutes, so it's very quick. And since he's doing it himself, he adds that little McConaughey flair to it. So like each poem, prayer, or other written material, it's not bland. He has his own little twist to each and every one. So might be a little musical in some of them, or just the way he says different things. Like he adds his own little personality and direction to each poem or prayer, written material for each thing in this audiobook. So like I said, it brings out his different personalities and his acting ability, and it just his ability to write in general, which brings everything to life. Now, the one downfall to this book is, now he does break it up, or he does talk a little bit about the different ones once in a while, but a lot of times he's going from one to the other. But you can tell it's like broken up a little bit. But some of like the poems and stuff like that, or the prayers, you might want to you sort of want to deep dive into the meaning behind some of them, or just like reread them more slowly and over again, just to get what he was getting at. Now, some are just like quick little rhymes and stuff like that. But some of the other ones have like a more deeper meaning. At least I wanted to dive in a little bit more instead of just being read. So that's the only downfall of it being an audiobook, where this one, since again it is poems and prayers and shorter written material, it might be better in a hardback book, paperback, whatever, instead of an audiobook. Even if you're reading it off a tablet or whatever, might be better to do it that way than in an audiobook format, because as I'm walking around trying to listen to it, as he's going from one to the other, I'm like, man, I want to take a second to do the deep dive of what he was getting at there, but then he's throwing another one at you from a different angle or perspective, so you sort of lose a little bit in the transition. So that is the downfall, but it is awesome how he throws his different like personalities and voices and stuff like that into each written material that he has, and they're all written material by him 100%, so there's no secondhand writing at all, and that's why he's putting it out, just to get some of the written material he's had out. Now, he did add in, I think, is it the first one? I don't know, it's early on. It might be the first thing that he actually reads was like a 5-minute thing from Green Lights. I could be mistaken. I know it was very early on. I think it was the first one, but whatever. So he sort of summarizes like the Green Light book in that like 5-minute long read. The other ones really aren't 5 minutes, I would say, for the most part. But just one of those cool things to listen to, get you excited and get your mind rolling a little bit, thinking about different things. Now, it might be overwhelming at some points in time, just because the different angles, like switching things up, and just how he switches his voice up constantly. It might give you a little bit of an overload, so you might have to stop it a couple times, take a break, just to get a cooler deep dive into what he just said. So if you're doing it in audiobook format, you might have to hit pause a bunch. But it's definitely worth a listen, or 3, to get all the meetings and understanding what he was writing at the time. And it's I don't know, just cool to see some of the things that he was thinking about in life, and what different stories that he wanted to tell, and how good of a writer he actually is. I think it's really brought that out a lot. So other than that, you definitely need to get this. I would say more so in a hardback book than audiobook format. Because again, you're definitely going to want to listen to it a few times, or take a second to get what he was actually meaning on that specific poem, prayer, or short written material. So again, that's the only downfall, and that's just sort of nitpicking, but definitely get Mathew McConaughey's Poems and Prayers new book.